In a tale where love transcends the boundaries of life and death, The Girlfriend's Ghost is a chilling reminder that some promises are never forgotten, even by the departed. This is a story of devotion that defies the grave, but beware, for not all memories are worth holding on to. Jason was deeply in love with Lily. Their relationship had survived the highs and lows of life, and for Jason, she was his entire world. They had been together for 4 years, a bond that everyone around them envied. They shared everything: dreams, fears, and a deep connection that Jason believed could never be broken. But fate had other plans. It was a stormy night when tragedy struck. Jason and Lily were driving home after a late-night movie. The rain was relentless, making it difficult to see the road ahead. Despite the weather, they were laughing, talking about their future together, when suddenly the car skidded on the wet road, and everything turned into a blur of flashing lights and screeching tires. When Jason woke up in the hospital, he was told that Lily hadn't made it. The news shattered him. The love of his life was gone, leaving him alone with only memories and an aching emptiness. Weeks turned into months, but the pain remained fresh. Jason couldn't let go of Lily. He often visited her grave, talking to her as if she were still there, hoping that somehow she could hear him. The loneliness was unbearable, and his friends worried about his mental state. But Jason didn't care. He wanted to hold on to Lily, no matter what. One night, as he sat in their once shared apartment, a strange thing happened. The lights flickered and a cold breeze swept through the room, though the windows were shut tight. Jason's phone buzzed on the table, and when he picked it up, he froze. There was a message from Lily's number. "Miss you, I'm still here." His heart raced, and he stared at the screen, unable to believe what he was seeing. This had to be a cruel joke, but who would do something so heartless? His hands trembled as he typed a response. "Lily, how is this possible?" The reply was instant. "Come find me." Jason's mind was spinning. He was torn between fear and the desperate hope that somehow Lily was still with him. He grabbed his jacket and left the apartment, following some irrational instinct that led him to the cemetery where Lily was buried. The night was eerily quiet, the air thick with tension. As he approached Lily's grave, the temperature seemed to drop. Jason shivered, but he couldn't turn back. He had to know. Standing in front of the gravestone, Jason whispered her name. The wind picked up, swirling around him, and the ground beneath his feet seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Then, out of the darkness, he heard Lily's voice, soft and distant. "Jason," he turned, but no one was there. His breath quickened, and the hairs on his neck stood on end. "Lily, where are you?" "I'm here with you." Always, the voice replied, closer this time, almost as if she were standing right beside him. Jason's eyes filled with tears. "I miss you so much, I know," the voice whispered. "But you need to let go." He shook his head. "I can't." A chill ran down his spine as he felt a cold touch on his arm, like fingers brushing against his skin. He looked down, but saw nothing. "Lily, I don't want to lose you." "You haven't," the voice said, now filled with an unsettling edge. "But I can't move on if you don't." Suddenly, the ground beneath him shifted, and Jason stumbled back. The earth around Lily's grave began to crack, and a thick black mist oozed from the ground. Jason's heart pounded as the mist coiled around him, suffocating and cold. "Jason, you have to let me go," Lily's voice pleaded, now sounding desperate and pained. But Jason was rooted to the spot, torn between love and terror. The mist rose, forming into a vague, shadowy figure that resembled Lily. Her face was pale, eyes dark and hollow, filled with an unbearable sadness. "Please," she whispered, reaching out to him with ghostly fingers. "Free me." Jason's vision blurred with tears. "I love you, Lily. I love you too," she replied softly. "But this isn't right. You have to let me rest." The mist began to pull away, and Lily's form started to dissipate. Jason reached out, but his hands passed through her, touching nothing but air. The coldness seeped into his bones, and he felt a crushing weight in his chest. "Goodbye, Jason," Lily's voice echoed as her ghostly form faded completely into the mist, which then sank back into the earth, leaving the grave undisturbed as if nothing had happened. Jason collapsed to his knees, sobbing uncontrollably. The air around him warmed slightly and the wind calmed. He stayed there until the first light of dawn, finally realizing that in order to keep Lily's memory alive, he had to let her go. In the weeks that followed, Jason slowly began to heal. He no longer visited the grave as often, and the strange occurrences in his apartment stopped. Though the pain of losing Lily would never fully disappear, he knew she was at peace, and in some small way, that brought him peace as well.